What is going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be power ranking every single SEC starting quarterback for 2025. I'm going to be projecting who the starter for each SEC team is next year at quarterback, and I'm going to power rank them from 16 to number 1. Now let's start off this video with number 16. I have Mississippi State quarterback Blake Shapen. I don't necessarily think he's a bad quarterback, but he definitely has competition in the SEC. I think there's going to be some good quarterbacks in the SEC next season. He has potential to put up big numbers in Jeff Lebby's high-powered offense. He had a solid start to the 2024 season. He had 974 passing yards and 8 touchdowns, but he did have a season-ending injury. I don't expect him to have a huge year for Mississippi State. I have him at number 16. I don't think he's that great of a quarterback. Number 15, I have Missouri quarterback Beau Pribula. Pribula really has big shoes to fill at Missouri with the departure of Brady Cook. Beau Pribula really is a threat on the ground with his legs as a quarterback, but I still need to see more from his passing game. And he really just has a lot more to prove. And can he be a good number 1 quarterback for Missouri? Because he will not be in a limited role anymore. He will be the leader of that offense, and I don't have great expectations for him. I have him at number 15. Number 14, I have Kentucky quarterback Zach Calzada. I have him a bit higher than maybe some people would, but I think he was a sleeper pickup for Kentucky at quarterback. He has played a ton of college ball all the way back to his time at Texas A&M in 2019. He played for Incarnate Word in 2024. He threw for 35 touchdowns and 3,700 yards. Kentucky has some question marks heading into next season, but they've added some big pieces through the portal, and I think Calzada's experience will help this team. I think Calzada is a sleeper quarterback. I think he'll be better than people expect him to be, and I have him at number 14. I wouldn't be surprised if he's higher. Number 13, I have Georgia quarterback Gunnar Stockton. He's very low on my ranking, but I don't think he's going to be bad. I just don't expect him to be a super good quarterback for Georgia. I think he'll be okay. I just haven't seen enough from Stockton to rank him any higher. He's definitely got the breakout potential for 2025. He's a solid dual threat quarterback, but I really just need to see more from him. And I only have him at number 13 for now. Number 12, I have the former 5-star quarterback for Auburn and Jackson Arnold. I am assuming he will be the starter, but also watch out for Ashton Daniels. He's a solid dual threat option. And they also have the 5-star freshman and Deuce Knight. But if we're being realistic, I think Jackson Arnold is that guy next year. And I do think he will take a bit of a step forward next season. I think Auburn's going to have a bunch of weapons for him to throw to. The questions come on the offensive line, though. But they have added some big pieces through the transfer portal on the offensive line. I think it will be a fresh start for him at Auburn. I think he'll be better next season. He had some major concerns at Oklahoma, but heading into next season, I have him at number 12. At number 11, I have Arkansas quarterback Taylen Green. He's definitely a solid playmaker at quarterback and has breakout potential. Arkansas finished with a 7-6 record, and Jalen Green was one of the bright spots for this team. The Boise State transfer threw for 3,154 yards and 15 touchdowns, and he also had 600 yards rushing and 8 scores. With Bobby Petrino as the offensive coordinator heading into year 2, Taylen Green is definitely a quarterback to watch out for in the SEC. I do have some questions with Arkansas and their ability to stay consistent, but I do think Taylen Green will be one of the bright spots for this team. I have him at number 11. Number 10, I have Ole Miss quarterback Austin Simmons. He is the projected starter next year, and he will have massive shoes to fill after Jackson Dart left for the NFL. But I do think Austin Simmons is going to fit well into that system. He's a former highly coveted recruit, and Lane Kiffin always has a high-powered offense. Austin Simmons was impressive against Georgia last season. In 2024, he threw for 282 yards in limited time. Ole Miss will have some turnover at wide receiver, but I think Austin Simmons also has breakout potential and the talent is there. And I have him at number 10. Watch out for Austin Simmons. He could be a dark horse in the SEC at quarterback. Another quarterback with breakout potential for 2025 is Texas A&M quarterback Marcel Reed. I have him at number 9. He showed flashes of promise after taking the starting job over last year for Texas A&M. He guided them to a road win over Florida and a victory over LSU. In 11 games, he threw for 1,864 yards and 15 touchdowns, and he was also a dangerous runner on the ground with 543 yards and 7 scores. This Texas A&M team will have a much improved receiving core with Micah Hudson and Casey Concepcion. Reed has massive potential, and I could see him being higher on here. This is a hot take, but at number 8, I have Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson. I'm expecting Ty Simpson to really be a great quarterback for that Kalen DeBoer system at Alabama. He's a former 5-star recruit, and with the addition of Ryan Grubb as the offensive coordinator, I think he's going to have a great offensive system to work with. I think Ty Simpson's going to have a big 2025 season. He will also have the young talented Ryan Williams back to throw to, and I think Ty Simpson will be one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC next year. He will have to hold off the 5-star true freshman Keelan Russell and also the former Washington quarterback Austin Mack, but Ty Simpson should be that guy, and I expect Alabama to have very good quarterback play because there's competition there. I think Ty Simpson will be that guy, and I have him at number 8. At number 7, I have former 5-star quarterback from Tennessee, Nico Iamaleava. He had a solid 2024 season for Tennessee. He did throw for 2,616 yards and 19 touchdowns to only 5 interceptions. He also ran for 358 yards and 3 scores on the ground. He definitely really needs to improve his deep passing game because he missed a lot of balls last season. He will no longer have Dylan Sampson in the backfield. He's off to the NFL. He's going to have a lot more focus on him next season, and there's going to be pressure on him. I do think he is a talented quarterback, but I still have some questions with him. I can't rank him any higher. I do expect him to take a step forward, though, and I have him at number 7. At number 6, I have an absolute baller at quarterback in Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt. Pavia was one of the surprise players of last season. He really helped lead this Vanderbilt team to a bowl game last season. He really sparked that Vanderbilt turnaround in 2024. He had a great season, passing for over 3,000 total yards and 28 touchdowns. He ranked 3rd in the SEC in rushing attempts, and he averaged 6.3 yards a carry. He was one of the better dual-threat quarterbacks in the SEC. He's an absolute fighter at quarterback. I expect him to have a big 2025 season. I have him at number 6. At number 5, I have transfer portal quarterback from Oklahoma, John Mateer. John Mateer had a breakout season at Washington State in 2024. He had just under 4,000 total yards and 44 touchdowns. And Mateer followed his offensive coordinator in Ben Arbuckle to Oklahoma. Mateer can do a little bit of everything. He has all-around great playmaking ability, and that's going to be a massive asset to that Oklahoma offense. However, there's still a lot more he needs to prove because he put up those numbers against very bad defenses, and he will have to do it against SEC defenses next season. And there's still questions with that Oklahoma offensive line and receiving room. I do have John Mateer at number 5. I think he has massive potential if Oklahoma can be consistent on offense. A lot of rankings would probably have Arch Manning at number 1, but I only have him at number 4. I think he's being a bit overhyped just because of his name. But don't get me wrong, the dude has massive potential, and I expect him to be one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC next season. He's learned behind a good quarterback in Quinn Ewers, and he will have a great offensive system to work with under Steve Sarkisian. He's got a ton of pressure on him, but he has showed flashes. He showcased his ability to bring more to the rushing game for Texas, and he has a decent ability to get the ball down the field passing. Texas will have a revamped offensive line with 4 new starters, though. There's going to be some concerns on offense. So I'm not going to rank Arch Manning any higher. I think we need to see more from him, but I do have him at number 4. At number 3, I have South Carolina quarterback Lenore Sellers. He had a really solid 2024 season and emerged as one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC. In his first full year as a starter, he threw for over 2,500 yards and 18 touchdowns, and he also ran for 674 yards and 7 scores on the ground. He's one of the top dual-threat quarterbacks in the country returning, and he finished 3rd in the SEC with a pretty solid quarterback rating of 151.9. This is a quarterback that could be a dark horse to win the Heisman Trophy. He's going to be a very electric quarterback and has the potential to lead this team to the playoffs. I have him at number 3. At number 2, I have Florida quarterback DJ Lagway. I am very high on his development. His development for 2025 is a big reason why Florida is expected to take a big leap in 2025, and it's a critical year for Billy Napier. They have the potential to make the playoffs. And I was really impressed with Lagway in 2024 because he stepped up in a very bad scenario for Florida. He had a lot on his shoulders and he really didn't get much playing time. He struggled with injuries at time and he didn't start right away. But in his time playing, he did throw for just under 2,000 yards and 12 touchdowns. He ended the year with very clutch performances against Ole Miss, LSU, Florida State, and Tulane. Florida as a whole ended last season very greatly. DJ Lagway is going to be a lot better next year in my opinion because he has the ability to adapt. He's shown that already. He's a former 5-star quarterback out of high school. I expect big things from DJ Lagway, and I have him at number 2. And lastly, at number 1, I think the best returning quarterback in the SEC is Garrett Nussmeier. I think he's going to have a huge year and honestly be a Heisman finalist. LSU has had 2 Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks over the last 10 years in Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels. Garrett Nussmeier could honestly be added to that list. He made the huge decision to return for 2025, his senior season. In only his first full year as a starter in 2024, Nussmeier threw for over 4,000 yards and 29 touchdowns. He ranked second in the SEC in passing yards per game with over 300 yards a game, and he finished third in completions of 40-plus yards. He arguably has the strongest arm in all of college football. I expect him to develop his game even more and cut back on turnovers next year, and he's got an elite receiving room to back him up. I definitely have Garrett Nussmeier at number 1. I think he has a great offense to work with, and I think he has a great skill set that can really help him improve his game even more. But anyways, that is going to do it for my 2025 SEC quarterback power rankings. You guys let me know down in the comments below what your power rankings would look like and what do you disagree with me on. But let me remind you guys to like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you'll love this channel because we upload a ton of college football content. And we basically cover everything on this channel, so definitely consider subscribing. And also consider checking out my socials down in the description below. But that is going to do it, guys, and peace out.